Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to get Paul Watson in here today to really co-host the first hour because he's such an expert on Brexit and what happened, obviously, with Le Pen in this landslide defeat at the hands of Emmanuel Macron, who is a literal Rothschild globalist frontman who literally poses for photos bowing down at the feet of Merkel. As Le Pen said last week, you'll either have me ruling you as a woman or you'll have Merkel. This is all part of the cuckolding of the French, where it is a national religion now to bow down. Now, a lot of the polls showed Le Pen in a dead heat are winning. So maybe they weren't cuckolded. Maybe the election was stolen. Paul discovered some evidence of fraud going on. That's all coming up. I'll be popping in during this hour, and we also will be here in the second and third hour. We have a bunch of big guests today. I'll tell you about the start of the next segment. And we have huge news dealing with what's happening with Obamacare, a giant child porn bust, the largest ever, with 150,000 people involved. That's all part of Trump giving the green light to roll up the pedophile networks. And I have confirmed from our sources the president has ordered an end to secretive geoengineering programs. I've noticed that myself, but I put some questions in, and the word came back that, yes, the president's aware of that. The programs are being reviewed. So a lot of huge news today. Speaking of breaking news from inside the White House, Roger Stone's going to name names in the third hour of the moles inside the White House and inside the State Department being run by even people like Donna Brazile. You can't make that up. So today, Jack Posobiec is going to be joining us, Roger Stone, Leanne McAdoo, David Knight, and many, many others. But right now, Paul Watson, we got about 3 minutes to break. I appreciate you coming in to mainly host the first hour today because of your expertise. Obviously, you got family that lives in France. You live there part of the year. I guess you told me you're evacuating to another location in Europe because the Islamists have overrun things. We don't want to mention where that is. But, wow. Paul, what's coming up today?
Well, Alex, going to break down what happened with Macron. He entered to make his acceptance speech. And by the way, there's a hilarious clip of him trying to read from a teleprompter and completely failing, which shows you the kind of presidency that it's going to be.
Total puppet.
Yeah, there's video of him entering to make his acceptance speech, and he walks out to the EU national anthem. Before they even play the French national anthem, he's walking out to the EU anthem in front of a giant pyramid in the Louvre with a red blinking eye at the top of the pyramid right above his head. And I think they've actually got a GIF image of that I sent that they can play to show you that Macron giving his acceptance speech in front of the Louvre. Again, the giant pyramid symbolism behind him. And of course, the EU's got its own symbolism, Alex, just like the Stars and Stripes is a form of symbolism. You know, the Pledge of Allegiance is a form of symbolism. Yeah, that's him reading out the teleprompter. That's the GIF right there. All hail the New World Order. Now, come on. We've got our own symbolism when it comes to nationalism and patriotism. That is globalist symbolism.
By the way, Francois Mitterrand, this is mainstream news, was a Luciferian. He commissioned the 666 pieces of pink orange glass for the pyramid, and he believed that it is the site of where now Lucifer resides. So that was Francois Mitterrand, the former French president, saying that the Louvre is the center of Satanism in the world. And, of course, they have it in movies when the aliens invade, you know, in that Tom Cruise movie that came out a few years ago, that's where the aliens have their mothership, is at the Louvre. I mean, talk about throwing it in our face, Paul.
Well, this is a guy who said, quote, "There's no such thing as French culture. The call to prayer in the Paris streets, they're now petitioning for that Islamic prayer to be made completely legal and acceptable. This is the future of France," and we're going to talk about it after the break, Alex.
All right, I'm going to come back at a few of the other stories that are coming up and then hand the baton to Paul for the rest of the hour. Really great to have Paul here. He'll also be back tomorrow hosting the fourth hour. Please tell everybody you know, listening on AM, FM, internet, you name it, to tune in now. They're trying to censor us and block us everywhere because we are so effective in the face of the globalist. We are the resistance. Their New World Order is an anti-human, transhumanist movement.